So here we go. We got USD CAD on the 60 minutes here. And let's take a look at this one. Now this one is an uptrend. Now I'm going to show you how in an uptrend and how things look in a downtrend. Okay, we're going to cover it in this video. So imagine you're that rubber band man running up this way, right? You're running your little race, you're resting a bit, you're running up higher, you're breaking records. You break your records like this, you went higher than this. The guy started it all is down here. He gets up to here, rests a little bit, he goes up higher. Okay, you broke that record. And then you rest, you never make a higher high, you come down here and it's like, okay, that's a V formation. Now that's a V formation, so it should sell, right? Okay, because V formation basically indicate that, well, that buyer is dead. He's finished. Okay, so right now we're just spotting V formations, and if that's what you're saying, that's a V formation, that's correct. And those of you who are watching this and saying, I know that's a V formation, but I can also see this entire picture is like this kind of thing. Okay, then you're a step ahead, and that's also correct. So that one helps you stay out of trouble, and we'll get into how to stay out of trouble and all that stuff in a bit. But this is correct to be calling this a V formation after it breaks that area. Okay, that basically tells you the buyer is dead. Now, when you see a V formation like that, the reason why I'm trying to teach you this as well, even though it's in the wrong direction, because it tries to tell you the buyer's finished taking their turn. Now it's the seller's turn. You can't rejoin the buy unless you wait for the sellers to come take their turn. Okay? So that is not a seller. Your seller is here. Does that make sense? So when you understand situations like this, you start to get an idea of, okay, now that I know when the sellers are coming, I can stalk the seller, see imagine if I am the seller and I'm running down and down, and whenever I get tired and I get a V formation, it's like, okay, here comes the buyers again. The buyers are back. Okay? So when you think of it in that terminology, it's like, okay, I'm starting to see how this game is working. And once you get your V formation, there's one common thing that happens after a V formation. You're looking for one last run. Okay? So one last run. So imagine this thing comes all the way down to here, breaches this, and then you get this V formation coming up. It's like 90%. It's not the highest thing, but it's 90%. You're aware that it's an uptrend. You're aware of the situation that it's all holding above this guy who's looking at this as a buy from here. Okay, once you figure all that stuff out and you see this V formation kick in, he tries to do one last run, which is going to be a couple candles. Okay, his one last run down again. And that's going to be your moment to decide, okay, it's time. Okay, now let me show you some of this stuff on a different example. So let's take a look at further up the road. Now, when you go up to here, you can say, well, I can see a red candle there, and then that must be a V formation. No. He breached above this area. Let me delete all this. He breached above this little halt. It's not a red candle, it's a halt. Look how markets wait there 4 hours. Okay? Notice how I'm using the word time. I'm not just saying a candle color. Don't get caught up with candle color. Okay? Because not on the 60-minute, but imagine if you're on the 4-hour chart, a candle color can actually just change a little bit, because on your chart, your 4-hour starts from a different time, and my chart, my 4-hour might start in a different time. I might not even see it as red. I might even see it as a green still, just with a little wick or a tail on it. Okay? So don't go with just candle colors. It'll throw you off. You'll actually see some of my students sometimes, if they're presenting, I've stripped away their colors. Their charts are going to look like bare bones. They look like one color. So they can focus more on what's happening rather than how can I get caught up into the color scheme and, think Christmas lights. So when you look at it, stuff like this, and you're saying, okay, we're going higher high sequence, and he's breaching out this area, and since then he hasn't made a higher high, has come all the way down. This is all buyer's territory. No V formation yet. Breaches it higher from here. Okay, here we go. Breaches it higher from here. Who's responsible? This fella is responsible. Oop, here we go. This fella's responsible, and look at that. As soon as he breaches up higher, he comes 90% to it. Those without patience won't see that it's a tail because they're too anxious. Oh man, it's a V formation. I need to sell it now. Those with the patience let the candle close and see, no, it's not a V formation yet. The buy is still on. Okay, it's still in buyer's territory. So he does this thing, blah, 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 gets up to here, halt, breach. Halt and breach means line continues. Okay? Halt again up here, but then the breach never goes higher and comes right back down. You have your V formation. Now that you have your V formation, you're looking at this as, it's the seller's turn. As the V formation comes in, you as the buyer who was running upwards might do one last run. And if that last run proves you can't make it, that's when the sell begins. That's when the sell begins. So if you can master this area, how the V formation happens, followed by the last run, you can time the market in a way where you can catch the moves, the big moves. Okay? But now, looking at this entire scenario, if you're doing it the wrong way, and you know that this is all in the buyer's territory, that can catch you off guard. Okay? But if you're looking at this as a sell, and you're like, the buyer's territory is far away, I'm going to do what's called a counter trend trade, then this is for you. Okay? Counter trend trades are advanced and highly not recommended by me. But I'm teaching you anyways, so you have the knowledge of when people take counter trend trades, don't knock them down. Don't tell them it's wrong. Don't tell them they can't do it, or it's... Let them try it. Let them do it. It's just less safer. Let's put it that way. Okay? It's just less safer. Some people love the thrill of a counter trend trade, and that's fine. I need you to start stepping into profitable trades first before playing with thrill. Okay? We're here to make money, not here to gamble. Alright, so as the market comes down, you know at this stage it's a seller's market. Seller, running, right? He's running down, rest a little bit, runs down a lot, and then rest, V formation to the top. Okay? As he's doing all this rest stuff, he never makes a lower low, but then he does a V formation. Now, what kind of V formation is this? Lopsided. That lopsided V formation starts to give you an idea that, he's strong. The buyer is strong. But that same seller makes his last attempt. Okay? This seller who is responsible makes his last attempt to do a run. You have to allow him his attempt to run. He does his attempt to run, and after, 6-7 hours, he actually makes it. Now, why does he make it? Usually, after a few tries, like that one, he doesn't succeed. After a few tries, like this one, he doesn't succeed. But why here he makes it? Because now you're not just looking at a V formation, but you're also looking at a range. This can go oblivious to many people while they're just looking for a buy because they're in buyer's territory. You got to be careful with these things. So the seller makes it. He makes it and pushes the market down, but look at how far he goes down. He gets down to the same lows area, and then he goes chop. Buyer kicks back in. Okay? So these are areas where you can re-evaluate the situation. Now, a person who's looking at this as a range is simply just waiting down here saying, I can't wait to buy it. He has no idea of the story of a V formation just kicked in. This is the last run of the seller. And then if the run fails, the buyers take over. Okay, so this is a money-making spot as well. Now this one, I'm sorry that it was a bit difficult on immediately the second video, but I just wanted to get you guys a heads up. You can watch this again and again to make sure as you go through all the videos to come back to get a recap on this one. Everything else is fine. So again, I pushed it a little bit longer than usual because these are interesting topics of V formation, and I don't want to leave anything out. Okay. On to the next example.